Hello everybody, this is Milad, and in this tutorial we're going to continue learning Bootstrap 5. In the last session we learned how to start using Bootstrap actually by copying this started template. Actually, the only thing we should do is just to copy and paste this code into our project. And for this tutorial, I would just want to pass an important sections and just want to focus on main and important idea and information in this documentation. So I'm gonna pass getting started section as well as customize section. And I want to start with layout section, which is very important for understanding how Bootstrap works. Okay, the first thing we have in layout section is breakpoints, and breakpoints is actually the key concept behind how a responsive page works with Bootstrap, and it would be much more easier to show it to you rather than talking. So if we have a page something like this, uh, if I change the width of the browser, as you can see, when I reach to a certain point and pass that value, if you pay attention, you see that this sidebar here, the right sidebar actually, uh, is going to disappear, and we call it a responsive behavior. Actually, the browser is controlling the behavior of the page and control the position of the different elements, and based on the width of the screen you have, based on the size of your device, it decides which elements should be shown and which shouldn't. Well, how does it do this actually? uh, well, the basic concept is these numbers here. And actually, we tell to the browser that when you, for instance, reach to this point, when the screen size is, for instance, at least 768 pixel, you can show the sidebar. And in Bootstrap, it's pretty much easy to do this only by adding some classes to the elements we want. And these different sizes, actually 6 default breakpoints, are available in Bootstrap, and we can use them for different sizes. For instance, if we want to hide a menu in a phone with a screen size less than 576 pixel, so you just need to add this tag, add the relative class. We'll see what is that, and we add the relative class to the element we want. And that is how breakpoints actually work in Bootstrap. And this is the most important part of this page, and we're going to pass it and go to the next session. Well, containers as the next step are a very basic building block of Bootstrap. Basically, containers actually is the first thing we need to work with Bootstrap, and uh, in fact, containers are the most basic element in Bootstrap, and before you using any other classes and grid system of the Bootstrap, we need to define a container. And there is two important container. There is a default one and there is a container float. In just a minute, we will explain it. But before that, uh, as you can see, there is the same concept here as we had before in breakpoints. And actually, we use the idea that I explained in breakpoints. And let me show it an example here. For instance, if we define a container -md, it means that for screen sizes that are less than 500, actually are less than 768 pixels, the width of the container is at the maximum level possible. And when the screen size increases and reach to the point where it passes the value of 768 pixels, then the maximum size of the container will be 720 pixels. And when we pass another level, for instance, if it passes 992 pixels, the maximum level will be changed, and uh, it will be replaced by another value. So that's the basic idea behind container. And now let me to show you how it works and how we can use it. So let's get back to our code, which was this. Let me refresh the page we have here. And this is. So as I told you, the first thing is to define a container, and the only thing we need to do is just copy this and use this in our project. And I'm gonna cut it from this and paste it here. And now, and there's one thing I need to do. I just cut it from here and add a bglight class to the container div so we can actually see the container. And something's wrong here. I don't understand. It's not working. Let me check it again. So we have a, oops, we defined two classes. It's wrong. It's a silly mistake. And this is. So if I refresh the page, you can see this light background we have here. And let me, maybe it's better to change it to dark. If I refresh, as you can see, this is the container we have here. And as I told you before, we use a simple container. The simple container actually adapts with the size of the screen based on the screen size actually. So if I change the width of the browser, as you can see, until to the first breakpoint, the size of the container is fixed. And when I pass the line and go to the next level, the size is changed, and then the maximum width is different. So this is how a simple container works. And let me to show you how container fluid works actually. So if I save it and refresh the page, you can see that no matter what is the size of the screen, the container is always 100% of the entire screen. So sometimes we need to use the first one, sometimes we need to use the former. Okay. Okay, that's it for this part, and I see you in the next lesson.